Hello, my name is Koen D'Haeyer. I'm very honored to speak to you today as an SQM agronomist. SQM is a global company with vast experience in specialty plant nutrition management for over 50 years. Myself, I'm speaking to you from Belgium, where we have main offices and operations for the European, Asian and Oceania markets. You can see it here on the map as one of our many offices around the globe. Belgium, by the way, might also be referred to what we call the heart of the potato belt here in Europe, with very intensive production of potatoes, as it is a #1 exporter of processed potatoes around the world. In this Academy session, I will dig into the production potential and yield components for potato production. And I will discuss the key factors to reach high yield and high quality standards. I will explain this with special attention to nutrition requirements in general and share some insights on how important it is to select the right fertilizer sources to achieve high yield and quality under different conditions. In order to understand the full production potential in a certain area, we have to remind us on the nature of the potato crop. As you can see in this map, which shows in green the most suitable areas for potato production, suitable areas have relatively cool climates and certainly adequate water availability. You find them in important areas of USA, Mexico, Brazil, Europe, South Africa and Southeast Asia. It can also be said that the potato crop adapts relatively well to a wide range of conditions, witnessed by its global spread during the past centuries. And of course, in more and more areas, potato farmers succeed in gaining more control on managing their conditions. A very illustrative example on managing conditions is demonstrated by some study results shown here. In a study by one of the leading research institutes for potato and vegetables in Europe, a comparison was done at equal nutrient supplies, but under different systems. Rainfed was compared to drip irrigation and drip fertigation during a rather dry season in 2019. Where water availability was properly managed compared to the rainfed system, yields were clearly more than doubled. Water is not only essential to the process of photoassimilation of dry matter, but is also the main transport medium of essential nutrients via root uptake. When the nutrient availability is more efficiently managed through fertigation compared to only irrigation, we see more than 20% increased net yield in the commercially important above 50 mm classes. Knowing that in Belgium less than 5% of the potato fields are fertigated, this demonstrates that there is still clear room for improvement to manage the conditions and increase efficiency of land, water and fertilizer use. Top producing countries around the world reach average productions of around 55 tons per hectare. With more optimum conditions and management, we already see maximum yields up to 100 tons per hectare. Full genetic potential, being the potential when all micro and micro conditions are optimum, are mentioned to be even significantly higher than 100 tons per hectare. So again, it must be clear that there is room for improvement when we manage variety and seed selection, cultural practices, phytosanitary management, water management, and of course, nutrition management as professional as possible. Looking to the development phases of the potato plant during the season, we can clearly understand that the main yield components are the total number of tubers, which relates to the number of plants per hectare and the number of stems per plant, and the tuber weight or tuber size, which is related to dry matter production during photosynthesis and translocation of carbohydrates to the tubers. The main key factors that define the number of tubers and tuber filling are the variety and seed quality, a uniform emergence and good vegetative growth, root development, tuberization, translocation of the sugars to the tubers or tuber filling, the maintenance of the vegetative area, and storage. I will now discuss these key factors and make some links to nutrition management where relevant. The variety selection not only defines the genetic potential, of course, but also if the type of potato matches with the local markets and conditions. The chosen variety defines to a certain extent the vulnerability to conditional stresses like diseases, cold, heat, drought, etc. And the seedling quality, in terms of vigor, physiological age and health, determine the number of tubers a potato plant potentially will produce, in addition to the tuber weight and total yield it will potentially achieve. Physiologically, mature seeds, tubers, generally have multiple bud breaks and generate a larger number of stems, which contributes to a larger number of tubers per plant. So, be aware to start off with high quality seed if you want to achieve the highest results. The potato plant development is determined by the homogeneity of its emergence. Therefore, high productivity is directly related to a shorter period from planting to emergence, which helps to rapidly initiate the photosynthesis. So, not only adequate physiological age of the seed and pre-bud break, but also precise superficial planting at adequate soil temperature, like above 10 degrees Celsius, accelerate the process of emergence. Related to emergence, I would like to make a first link with nutrition. For the early uptake of nitrogen, it is important to apply an optimal nitrogen source balance. We will explain that the optimum ratio for soil-grown potato is 80% nitric to 20% ammoniacal nitrogen. Nitrate being the natural form in which nitrogen is taken up after nitrification in the soil. Nitrification processes decrease considerably with soil temperatures like below 20 degrees Celsius. So, especially during colder springs, the supply of part of the initial nitrogen as nitrate will allow proper early root nitrogen uptake, even when soil temperatures are still below optimal conditions for nitrification. After emergence, a rapid phase of vegetative growth begins and continues until flowering, before to diminish considerably. There is a direct relation between magnitude of root and aerial growth, as proven by Harris in 1992. Also, here there is a relation with nutrient sources. Nitrate nitrogen has a positive effect on the promotion of cytokinin, which stimulate cell division and lateral growth, as shown in the picture of a study by Romheld in 2005. To obtain high yields, the leaf area index must reach around 3 square meters of leaf area per square meter of crop surface as early as possible. Fast development of the canopy is important. Early closure of canopy also influences weed control and prevents drying out of the soil. The amount of intercepted light accounts for 92% of variation in yield in absence of water stress. A maximum root and vegetative growth is needed in the shortest time frame prior to tuberization. A concentrated tuberization period leads to greater homogeneity in tuber size, which is important like for processing industry. Tuberization starts when the stolons begin thickening, usually 5 to 7 weeks after planting or 15 to 40 days after emergence. During this stage, carbohydrates produced in the foliage are utilized for stolon growth and for the initiation of the tuberization which relates also to the genetics, temperature, soil, moisture, and hormonal status. Short days and low temperatures, especially at night, stimulate early tuber development. But also a concentration increment of the cytokinin hormone level favors the tuberization. A good availability of phosphorus in the soil is fundamental for adequate formation of the root system and, in turn, a greater number of tubers. Also, application of nitrate nitrogen enhances cytokinin formation, as discussed before, while boron and zinc enhance intensive cell division. Nitrogen availability, however, should be in adequate balance with potassium, since excess nitrogen diminishes tuberization and elongates the process, resulting in a non-uniform tuber size. Demand of photoassimilates increases after tuberization during tuber filling. A strong foliage and good root development are needed in order to promote an optimal start of tuber growth. Once carbohydrates are produced, they are transported to the different organs via the phloem. In this process, magnesium, boron, and potassium play a fundamental role. Potassium is the main osmotic regulator of plants, and it directly participates in the stream of photoassimilate via phloem. So the higher the canopy providing photosynthesis assimilates, and the higher the translocation of these assimilates to the tubers, the higher the yield. In the shown picture you can see how a balanced nutritional program can improve the canopy development and hence improve the dry matter buildup. The balanced nutrition will also assure a proper potassium level in a good nitrogen to potassium ratio to improve translocation of the dry matter components to the tubers. The vegetative area should be maintained well. One of the main functions of the photosynthetic system in potatoes is to capture light and harness it for the production of dry matter. As long as the foliar area is active, photosynthesis will occur, leading to greater yield and higher tuber quality. Maximum yield is directly related to net daily photosynthesis. To determine net photosynthesis, the carbohydrates consumed in the respiration process have to be subtracted from the carbohydrates produced in the photosynthesis. All stress affects net photosynthesis. Water stress, temperature stress, salinity stress, pest and disease, light, nutrient deficiencies, and then especially potassium and magnesium deficiency. We should try to avoid or diminish all these stresses to increase the net photosynthesis. Also here I'd like to make another link to the nutrient sources, which is important to understand canopy efficiency. As you will know, magnesium is the central element of the chlorophyll molecules where the first steps of photoassimilation take place. This makes there is a direct link with the magnesium level in the leaves and the dry matter production in the tubers. Magnesium is synergistically taken up more efficiently in an environment where predominantly nitrate nitrogen is present, while the uptake is clearly decreased due to the antagonistic effect with ammonium. High levels of ammonium decrease magnesium uptake. In these figures, you see that the synergistic uptake of magnesium can lead to a triplication of the magnesium content in the dry matter compared to antagonistic uptake. The synergistic uptake mechanism works for all cations and anions. This means that with ammoniacal nitrogen, we cannot achieve the same levels of uptake of potassium and calcium, like we do with higher nitrate nitrogen content in the nutrient solution. So, this defines greatly the tuber filling and peel quality. Also, a nitrate environment will take up less chloride if present in the nutrient solution, since nitrate has an antagonistic effect with chloride, decreasing the vulnerability to storage losses. Thank you for your attention.